Yeah, I know what I found out that's crazy though, man, is when they were coming out with the first Bad Boys in 1995, it was going to be titled something different, right? But they were originally considering Dana Carvey and John Lovitz in the title roles. So when you think about that, I, I, like I said, I don't even know if it was going to be called Bad Boys at the time, but that would make me think the movie would have been more in the line of a parody of an action movie. Like it'd have been like Loaded Weapon One with Samuel L. Jackson and Emilio Estevez, or Leslie Nielsen and O.J. Simpson with Naked Gun, or the Airplane movies, or Hot Shots with Charlie Sheen. It would have been more like a comedy parody type shit. Then I guess they chose to go another route. Um, then I read that Arsenio Hall was offered the role of that eventually went to Will Smith, but he declined it. And I read that he said that was the biggest mistake he's ever made in his life as far as movie roles. But eventually it was offered to Martin Lawrence, the top roles of Marcus Burnett and Mike Lowry was offered to Martin Lawrence and Will Smith, who at the time had two of the hottest sitcoms on television, Martin on Fox and The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air on NBC. And this is going to be hard to believe for some younger people. You're going to think, oh man, go Michael, another one of his bullshits. But it can be argued, I'm not saying it definitively, but it can be argued that at that time, Martin was a little bit hotter of a star than Will Smith. Because you got to go back in time to that time, 1994, 95. At that time, this is before Men in Black. This is before all those movies. This is before Independence Day, which came out the next year, which really put Will Smith on a total different trajectory. This is the Will Smith who was the sitcom star. But when you think about his movie career at the time, it was more or less just. Now, he did have that great role in 6 Degrees of Separation, but that was a role that was lauded more for his performance. But it wasn't a blockbuster. And if I'm not mistaken, at that time, one of the more recent roles he had was, I can't remember the name of the movie, but it was a movie with Ted Danson in it, and I think Whoopi Goldberg. That awful movie. I think he was in it. Whereas with Martin Lawrence, he was the hottest black comic at that time. You know, You So Crazy it just came out. He was on Saturday Night Live. Uh, you know, and then subsequently banned from Saturday Night Live. You know what I'm saying? He was edgy. He was funny. You know what I'm saying? He just had a Thin Line Between Love and Hate, I think, come out at the time. So he was a little bit more of the hotter of the two. Now, of course, that would change, you know what I'm saying, very soon. But anyway, the point being, when that movie came out, Bad Boys in 95, it was a hit, and it changed the trajectory of both of their careers. Will Smith would go on to superstardom. Martin Lawrence would go on to success and he would still be a star, but we all know Martin also had his problems. Personal problems with uh, alleged drug use, uh, the allegations on the show, whatever, uh, some other personal issues, but ultimately, and also, the near death experience he had from the heat stroke in 1999. But ultimately, Martin Lawrence was able to overcome those things. And, they had Bad Boys 2 in 2003. It was even more successful financially than Bad Boys. But the critics did not appreciate the movie as much as the first one. So here we are 17, 18 years later with Bad Boys 3, aka Bad Boys for Life. And they are reprising their roles of Marcus Burnett and Mike Lowry. And you have all of the other people coming in too. Joe Paliano, Teresa Randall, who pretty much seems like she's semi-retired now. And my fucking God, did I have a crush on that woman back in the 90s. Teresa Randall, oh my God. Sugar Hill. What was the other movie she did? Was it Girl 6? Ooh, son of a bitch. And she got to play Jordan's wife in Space Jam. But anyway, coming into this weekend, Bad Boys 3 was projected to make about $35 to $45 million and be a modest hit. But I felt like that movie was going to do better than that because we in the black community know uh, we know what type of movies we like to watch. I'm not saying we're the only ones that's watching these movies, but you kind of get a feel like, nah, this movie's gonna do better than this. And in limited release on Thursday, it made 6.4 million, which I think is a record haul for a Thursday premiere prior to Dr. King's holiday. And although the official numbers aren't in, from what they're saying, it's doing much better than anticipated or projected. So they've raised their expectations to it making between 63 to $67 million this opening weekend. I wouldn't be surprised if it does even a little bit better than that. So it's officially a blockbuster, and more than likely it's going to surpass the 270 million worldwide haul from Bad Boys 2 all the way back in 2003. So maybe because of that, or whatever, and the fact that the majority of critics have been very praiseworthy of this movie. Some of them feel like that this is actually the best of the three movies. But anyway, they've already greenlit Bad Boys 4. This was supposed to be the final installment of the series, but I don't know whether or not maybe the fact that I think I think I've read that Michael Bay is supposed to be coming back to do the fourth movie. He had a cameo in this movie, but he's coming back to do Bad Boys 4. The expectations that were met and exceeded with this one. Maybe there was also a desire of the cast to continue this series. Maybe they feel like it was still some more stories to be told behind these characters. But Bad Boys 4 will be in the works. So that's a good thing, you know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to say. Look, I remember when the trailer came out late last year, right? The trailer came out late last year, and everybody was talking about how much older Will and Smith, Will and Martin look, and they were especially merciless about Martin Lawrence weight. Look, when the first movie came out, these guys were in their late 20s, all right, in their peak physical condition years, all right. The second one came out, they were in their mid to late 30s, all right. Still young men, but you're getting to an age where you're starting to mold into your dad body, you know. You your young side, the young side is still trying to fight it, but you're starting to get into that dad body. Whatever your body gonna look like when you're in your 40s, you know, they're both in their 50s. When they were filming this, Will was 51. All right, 50, 51. Martin is a little older, 53, 54. All right, 55, something like that. Look, man, they're not gonna look like how they did in their 20s. It's just how it is. All right, everybody not Michael Jai White. And even Michael Jai White is a little heavier looking than he was when he was 25. All right, everybody not genetically blessed like that. And plus, You know, Martin Lawrence, if I'm not mistaken, he suffers from a thyroid condition where he takes medication, and medications have certain side effects. You know, it's really hard for a person with a thyroid condition to lose weight. It's not as easy as just not eating a lot and doing a little bit of light exercise. They got to do intense shit, man. They got to do intense shit to lose weight, which is part of the reason, you know, we almost lost Martin because he was trying to lose weight. Because if you remember from like the late 90s, right? Martin, the last movie where Martin was super skinny that I could pick up on, like looking at him, the last movie he did where he was super skinny was, what's the name of that damn movie, man? Um, Shit. Any other time the movie name would pop right in my head. But the movie he did with Tim Robbins, all right, nothing to lose. That's the last movie he did where he was really fucking skinny. All right, after that, he did Life. I noticed he was a little bit heavier. All right, not that he was fat, but he was heavier. I remember seeing him on MTV, and he was on MTV one time. It might have been a spring break, maybe like '99 or '98, one of those years. And I noticed he was heavier. So maybe to get back into shape, that's when I think he was going to do Blue Streak. He was doing some ridiculous shit, man. That's when he had the heat stroke. He was running in 100-degree weather with like some all types of shit on. I can't remember what the fuck he had on, but he passed out, right? Collapsed, and fortunately somebody saw him. So maybe, you know, if you're Martin Lawrence, if after this near-death experience, right? Maybe you're a little hesitant to go through a lot of extra shit to lose weight. I'm just saying. Maybe you have an aversion to doing extreme cardio workout. You know what I'm saying? And a man in his 50s, man, fuck it. You know? And it kind of fits his character anyway. His character is more of a family man. He's not all that interested or all that, you know, focused on how his abs look and, you know, and attracting women and all that type shit. Because I'm not trying to see you supposed to turn into a slob monster, but when you're a long married man with kids and they're growing up, man, you got other priorities other than, you know, how my abs look and, you know, and looking at my BMI and all that type of shit, man. But anyway, that's the only gripe I have with stupid ass fucking trolls. But other than that, man, I wish Martin Lawrence and Will Smith much success, and I hope this movie is entertaining to all you who watch it. And that's it.